There's no better statement for a superhero or villain than an epic landing. So here are the best moments when landings broke the internet in superhero movies. Yep, it's just as my header says. The Gormira landing from the first Iron Man movie should actually have taken the top spot on today's video, but I'm not really ranking today's entry, so it's the perfect way to kick off the video. Apart from the immaculate landing, there are all the other hype moments too, such as Iron Man attacking the terrorists or that iconic walk after he blows up the tank. The landing on its own is a top-notch piece of work, which pretty much served as a prelude to the awesomeness that would dominate cinemas over the next decade. Yeah, even Tony knew he was the best here. A man doesn't strike poses like those unless he knows he's commanding the scene. After all, his main job is to entertain us. No matter how you feel about the MCU, anyone will admit that it looks phenomenal, and Tony Stark established the art of aura farming right here, way before the kids on TikTok made it a buzzword. And that's exactly why it's a top moment across all superhero movies in existence.
He's all yours.
Hey! We fight each other, we lose.
Fair warning, gorgeous. You're going to encounter some indelicate language, a smidge of ass play, but we've been prohibited from using cocaine.
Chris Evans has built his entire legacy around being Captain America, so it's easy for us to forget that he used to be the Human Torch as well. Deadpool and Wolverine made sure to remind us of this when he made his appearance. That landing was awesome, and it gave us the vibe that an epic character had appeared.
Oh my god, he's gonna say it!
Say what?
Avengers!
Flame on!
Sorry, what now?
When we saw it was Evans, our minds immediately went to Captain America, but then the MCU's gag complex came in and surprised us even further. Having said that, it's a solid landing, and it's making our boy look dignified, so we're not exactly complaining about it.
We don't know that guy.
We thought we did.
Also, this was as good as it got for Johnny Storm, because he was only fed violations afterwards.
I don't... Not my favorite Chris.
You stupid piece of shit. You just got him killed.
Hey, we're all grieving.
All right, I ran out of patience. On to ruse!
Thanks. Well, I could have stuck the landing a little better. It's just a new suit. Wait, it's nothing, Mr. Stark. It's perfect. Thank you. Captain, big fan of Spider-Man.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Just,
Hey, everyone.
good job.
Spidey's a beloved character, and it's fair to say that even after the massive success of the MCU, he's still the biggest cash cow Marvel owns. It's precisely why Disney and Sony came together to give us Tom Holland's Peter Parker from time to time.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude.
Now, I've said it many times before, but showing him in the trailer totally messed up how epic this moment could have been if the fans weren't expecting it. The landing is still good enough to be placed in today's list, but once we saw the trailer, we already knew what we were gonna get.
That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all.
Look, kid, there's a lot going on here.
Stark said you'd say that. Wow.
But yeah, Spider-Man does his thing by bamboozling Steve Rogers, and all of us were here for it.
You got hard, kid. Where you from?
Queens?
Brooklyn.
Seriously though, Iron Man shouldn't be recruiting minors to fight superheroes.
Whoa. Stay aside. Guess who? Hi. You're done, all right?
Mr. Stark, wait. I'm not done. I'm not. Okay, I'm done.
Batman and his nightmare sequences have become a staple of Zack Snyder fans, but the one thing that actually stood out from all those experiences was the evil Superman landing. That dude is a genuine nightmare, because nobody would ever want the Man of Steel to turn over to the dark side. That landing, which was followed by everyone bowing down to this absolute Chad, commanded our respect, even though we knew he wasn't on our side. Even Batfleck's face said it all. The whole scene played out as if a king had arrived to punish those who opposed him. The Snyderverse may have been inconsistent, but it did have some pretty insane highs.
She was my world.
Neo might be the main character, but his girl Trinity's got proper boss girl energy. I really love how the first two movies knew she was the perfect opener and started both their intros with her just being a badass. The scene gives us such a cool landing against the backdrop of these explosions. Trinity is obviously out there doing her thing. I can safely say that Trinity ran so that Black Widow could fly.
We can't save everyone in this war.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
Gal Gadot isn't very much in favour right now because of her acting skills, but apart from being an integral part of meme culture, she also gave us some amazing moments as Wonder Woman. As per the topic of today's video, I'll start with the Battle of the Village of Veld, where Diana jumps and lands inside a house, taking out some of the enemies in the process, and the fight that follows is a solid sequence too. So kudos to everyone involved, and despite the actors' shortcomings, they still managed to give us quality content. Ah yes, you can't keep Christopher Nolan out of the mix for too long now, can you? It feels funny saying that because Nolan's not the actor, but that's the kind of impact he has as a director.
It's more like it.
Anyway, Batman landing on that van as he terrorizes the villains was top-notch work, and to see such epic moments all the way back in 2008 was a luxury.
What gives you the right?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Bruce Wayne does a lot here, but the landing alone is a top moment from the entire trilogy. To us, he's the hero we need, but to the bad guys, he's an absolute menace.
And boom.
Channing Tatum had his dream taken away from him when his solo Gambit movie got cancelled, but never say never, because he still got to play the role in Deadpool and Wolverine.
But I can tell you now, it's just a common courtesy to ask before you drink up all of my liquor.
That's a good thing I don't give a
Wow.
He made it his own with that weird accent and stuff, but he also had some solid moments as a superhero mutant. That landing in the middle of the big fight may have gone unnoticed to most, but not to the TV region. After all, it's literally just a second long and it's in the middle of him fighting a whole bunch of random dudes. As short as it may have been from a length and height perspective, I feel the moment does deserve a shout out. Peter Parker had a lot to deal with after Endgame. He fought against a mad titan, he lost his father figure, and he was a part of the team that saved the universe. But of course, the fighting never stops. And in this case, neither do the landings. Our boy was out here fighting drones and whatnot in Far From Home, but he still managed to use his webs and give us a neat piece of badass posing. Short bits like this often go unnoticed. It's amazing how a kid who's normally awkward and likes to make jokes can sometimes look so cool and heroic. Yeah, I know it doesn't come easy, but the man makes it appear that way. Thor Thor was probably the least popular of the MCU's big three in the beginning, and honestly speaking, he could be the same right now as well. However, he's the only one with a fourth solo flick, albeit a disappointing one. And no, I'm not counting Brave New World, because that wasn't even the same Captain America, okay? Anyway, the gap has closed immensely, but even in the first Avengers flick, the God of Thunder did his bit to give us some great landings.
Scared of a little lightning? I'm not overly fond of what follows.
Just look at this one where he aptly lands on a damaged road right next to the debris. Man's got accuracy, so he could have become a pilot too if he wanted to pursue an alternative career. Only thing is, they don't pay him beer.
You need the cube to bring me home, but I've sent it off I know not where.
Listen well, brother. I'm listening.
If there ever was an aura farmer before the new millennium even kicked off, it was Blade. This man knows nothing but sass. And he carries it not just into his fists or skills, but also his landings. Right before taking on Frost and his minions, our man makes a pretty high jump, but lands perfectly, and even gives us a snarl before engaging in the main encounter of the movie. It shows how focused he is as a character, and also gives us a glimpse into how flashy he likes to be, even when the stakes are high. Then again, this is the kind of stuff that makes you a legend in the world of comic book cinema.
Hiding from the fight?
Oh no.
The theatrical cut of the Justice League didn't give us a lot to cheer for, but Princess Diana made sure she at least got to steal the show with a couple of decent landings. Now, when it comes to her powers, Wonder Woman doesn't need to worry about getting bested by a bunch of disposable parademons. But she can always look good while doing it. I spoke about her grace and poise earlier, and both are on full display here for us to enjoy. The men have been dominating this list for a while, so it's important to throw in some girl power every now and then. You know, I keep talking about aura this and aura that, but Black Panther is the real deal. In the final battle, before he takes on Killmonger, the man has to get through his own folks who decided to betray him.
What's up? I never yielded! And as you can see, I am not dead!
That ain't gonna be enough to take out our boy T'Challa though, because those dudes just gave him an excuse to pull off one of the coolest landings you'll ever see. Jumping was one thing, but to time all that kinetic energy to release and blow everyone away was a whole other flex. I'm pretty sure even Killmonger would have been like, this is the man I want to defeat.
You! Hey, yeah, you! I take it the passkey, it's in that thing on your head.
Bring me 89P13.
I am Groot.
He says, suck my...
Not every landing needs to have a 100% safety record, and Star-Lord proves it with this particular sequence. After Groot goes ham on the higher evolutionary's gang of followers, there's tons of chaos. Which means Peter needs to get out of there quick. There was some collateral damage, but after learning about what these sick people did to Rocket Raccoon, mercy was never an option. Groot being able to fly was a nice bonus, and the landing was a unique way to escape the line of fire while also taking down one of the evil villains in the process.
That'd be premature.
You kill us both!
Not both!
Well, Steppenwolf isn't a superhero, but as I mentioned in the intro, we're looking at landings from superhero movies, so this one definitely counts. But Steppenwolf just had to be mentioned because of how awesome he looked here.
I have come to enlighten you to the great darkness. I will bathe in your fear.
The Snyder Cut definitely made him more respectable as the main antagonist, and we all know what he does to the Amazonian women after making his entrance.
They have failed 100,000 worlds. They always fail.
You can actually feel his presence, and he gives off the vibe of someone who isn't going to be beaten even by a whole army of girl bosses. At the very least, it was definitely better than what we got in the theatrical cut.
No!
Strong focus on what I want.
Spider-Man might be known for all kinds of heroic moments, but this landing was actually funny and enjoyable. Spidey's having a hard time controlling his powers and skills, so when he falls down from what should have been a lethal height, it's a miracle that the only thing broken is his back. There's nothing badass about it, but the impact is still good enough to linger in our memories. They even gave it a shout out in No Way Home when Toby mentioned his back problems.
Oh, it's my back. It's kind of stiff from all the swinging. Yeah, that's good.
Man, I wish I could go back to the good old days of 2004 when getting peak was the general standard.
Superhero landing. She gonna do a superhero landing. Wait for it!
I made the exception for Steppenwolf, so I can most definitely do the same for Angel Dust. Her landing was quite wonderful too, and it would have been a lot more iconic if she was a hero instead of a villain. Even Deadpool himself was cheering her on because he wanted to see her make that landing, and credit where it's due, she totally nailed it. This was followed by that intense fight against Colossus, but the prelude was good enough to catch my attention. Here's hoping for Gina Carano to give us even more badass roles like this.
Oh! You're on the left floor.
That is so sweet. Thanks.
Glad to see you can make it, son.
We've got yet another bad guy, but this time it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I still feel that the Iron Patriot suit was one of the biggest missed chances in the MCU, because that design was absolute fire. Anyway, this landing was received well by everyone, but the main problem is that it wasn't James Rhodes inside the suit, but Eric Savin. The audience knowing this made the scene even more memorable.
It is an honor, Mr. President.
You're gonna do it.
That's not how the Mandarin works.
Bro's bold as well, so his head would have fit nicely into the iron helmet. No shade.
You look damn good, Mr. President. But I'm gonna need that suit back.
I wouldn't say no to a tuna melt.
This may have made it to the list, but I'm sure Bruce Banner isn't proud of himself for being in such a scene. It happens right after the Hulk gets his butt handed to him by Thanos. So there's an added dose of humiliation in this landing. Hulk's pretty much traumatized and he never comes out properly again.
Been a while. It's good to have you, buddy.
I need to concentrate here for a second.
Where's your gun?
I don't know. We should have been having a thing.
There's no time for a thing.
I know.
That's the thing right there. Let's go. Dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
I'm sorry. I can't.
But the tone his arrival sets was crucial towards establishing the stakes in this movie. The audience was worried more than anything else, so in terms of impact, this easily takes the cake. I still wish we got the angry Hulk again, though.
Tony, you okay? How we doing? Good, man?
Really, really good. Really good. Do you plan on helping out?
I'm trying. You won't come out.
Okay, look, I admit that the whole Pepper in an Iron Man suit thing may have seemed a little forced, but I do believe she does don the suit in one of the comics, so I guess we can let it pass, yeah? Also, I think this would get some credit because of how it builds on the hype of everyone else showing up during the mega finale of the MCU. She's not shown for long, but it makes the fans feel good that Tony and Pepper are out there doing their best for the sake of the universe. Also, it allowed the both of them to share a final moment together before everybody started crying.
Friday. Tony, look at me. We're gonna be okay. You can rest now.
What's up, princess?
You'll never be a true king.
T'Challa may take the cake when it comes to landings in general, but as far as the final battle of Black Panther is concerned, Killmonger had the edge in that particular field.
I don't need a suit to kill you. The reign is over. You want to see us become just like the people you hate so much. Divide and conquer the United States.
Nah, I learned from my enemy.
You will destroy the world, Wakanda included.
The world took everything away from me.
As the two of them hurl towards their makeshift arena, T'Challa actually has a pretty bad fall. However, Killmonger pulls off an actual superhero landing and is completely unharmed. Bro did it better than an actual hero, despite being a freaking villain. There's got to be a separate kind of award for that, right? And yeah, it's customary for me to praise the fight that followed as well.
Such a poser.
Natasha Romanoff is such a poser and she knows it, doesn't she? Well, she actually needed Yelena to tell her that, but the fact still remains that she can pull off the perfect combo of a landing mixed with an iconic pose. Sure, Yelena might not like it, but she doesn't have to. Millions of fans all over the world do.
Why do you always do that thing?
Do what?
The thing you do when you're fighting. Like this thing that you do when you whip your hair when you're fighting with the arm and the hair. It's a fighting pose. You're a total poser.
I'm not a poser.
Black Widow actually strikes this pose a lot of times throughout her time in the MCU, but to do it after such a big landing was a greater flex. And I still can't believe that we had to wait till 2021 for her solo flick.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
I will control everything, and I will be like a god to them.
A god named Sparkles?
Spider-Man has tons of swings, and it would be natural for him to have lots of landings too, but I can't cover them all, so here's one from the Amazing Spider-Man series. Peter Parker loves to swing around at night, but when he's got to save the city from evil villains, he doesn't hold back either.
I hate this song!
In this particular moment, our boy knows he's got to win against his overpowered opponent, so he locks in as he lands. I know Andrew Garfield only got 2 movies, but I feel he could have had a much better legacy if they just gave him that third flick. Wow, number 12 is a really short entry. Falcon's one of the weaker MCU heroes, and I'm not saying that to shade him, okay? The dude does the best he can, and is more than capable on his own. During the opening sequence of Civil War, Sam manages to whack one of the Hydra agents down while making his landing.
I make 5.
And the whole thing looks so seamless. Honestly, Sam needs to make use of the fact that he can fly, because he doesn't really have much else going for him now, does he? In all fairness, Wanda did look impressed, so I guess that's a W for our boy right there.
Alright, you're scared, alone, you got no family. What, I didn't have a family either. You live in this dump? Well, guess what? I used to live in a shithole just like it. Speak up. I can't hear you with that pity in your mouth.
Now, I don't know if you know this short moment, but in my opinion, I think it's the perfect mix of parody and actual finesse. Wade Wilson doesn't really do superhero landings seriously, but in front of Rusty, I guess you could say he wanted to make a good impression. After all, the kid's almost like a nephew to him, so he needs to set the right example.
Oh, that is so not practical.
The sequence of events that led to the actual landing are quite nicely executed, and it's made to seem serious, but we all know the director wanted to add a slightly goofy element to it.
You stole that from RoboCop.
RoboCop. You're embarrassing me. Look. I can't say it.
I mean, can you seriously look at me in the eyes and tell me Deadpool struck that pose because he was being serious? Nah, he was messing around, wasn't he? But it still looked proper, so we don't laugh or praise him excessively. I wonder if he's got something similar planned for Avengers Doomsday, though.
I could get used to this X-Man shit.
Superman's had some cool landings so far, but for the one where he makes his appearance before the Dark Knight was a whole other vibe.
You don't understand. There's no time.
I understand.
The main fight happens right after this, but the way Zack Snyder presents the Man of Steel here is why he manages to kick off my final 10. The evil Superman landing does deserve its place in the history books, but there was something so strong and overwhelming about this moment that feels so surreal. It's like we're being told to prepare for what's about to happen next. Kal-El may not have wanted to fight, but his expression was that of a man who was locked in. The little shove can also be added to the landing because of how it's instantly after Superman makes his ground. It was also super disrespectful, and I'm sure this alone would have given Bruce Wayne some extra motivation to win the fight between Batman, Superman, and a substantial amount of kryptonite.
Breathe it in. That's fear. You're not brave. Men are brave.
Mark 42, autonomous prehensile propulsion suit test. Initialize sequence.
I'm pretty sure that you've gotten used to short landings now that we've come to number 9 on the list. Well, believe it or not, the Falcon's miniature landing doesn't even come close to how simple the Mark 42's landing was here. But at the same time, this is exactly why it's so captivating to watch. Tony's not really doing anything serious that has high stakes here. He's just testing if his suit can attach itself to him.
I'm the best.
What does work for him, though, is how the mask is the final piece of the puzzle, and it allows our man to strike a pose right after he completes his fractional landing.
As always, a great pleasure watching you work.
Anyway, I got places to be, a face to fix, and oh, bad guys to kill.
Maximum effort.
Cockshot!
The highway scene from Deadpool is all kinds of brutal and funny, but what really sets it apart is how it begins. Well, I'm not talking about that little chat Wade Wilson has with us at the beginning.
I know, right? Whose did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with pulverine.
It's how he actually kick-starts his massacre. Bro jumped off a freaking bridge and landed straight into his target car as if he's a pro when it comes to calculating speed and distance. Can you even imagine someone like Deadpool teaching a class of students stuff like maths? Yeah, me neither. Which is why the naughty assassin finds himself pulling off ridiculous stunts like this one.
Did I leave the stove on?
Those dudes had no idea what hit them, and the scene only goes from wild to wilder as it progresses. However, I'm going to stop here, because that's as far as the landing goes. Anything beyond that would be considered unfair to the other entries.
7. Good Deadpool. Someone's not counting. 6.
Gotcha.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
Wanda really got herself a glow up a few movies in, didn't she? At first she was just this woman with a weird accent who could play tricks on your mind, but as time passed by, she became strong enough to make freaking Thanos cheat in a one-on-one battle. The Mad Titan thought he had this fight easy, but the moment the Scarlet Witch lands, we know she's locked in.
Rain fire! But sire, our troops, just do it!
That look she gave Thanos tells us everything we need to know about her intentions. This woman isn't here to play games. She wants vengeance for what he did to Vision. And she's going to go all out to ensure she gets him. Elizabeth Olsen has really made this role her own, and I sure hope to see more of her in Doomsday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she survived the ending of the Multiverse of Madness. The MCU ain't going to kill off one of their legacy characters so easily.
I opened the Darkhold. I have to close it. No one will ever be tempted by the Darkhold again.
T'Challa is no stranger to the art of making the fans happy, as he was already serving from Civil War. In his solo flick though, the writers and producers knew he needed something to highlight his persona, so they chose an apt scene to get it done, apart from the one that I already covered earlier. The car chase sequence is memorable for various reasons.
Hey, what was that?
Don't worry about it. You're doing great.
But none can surpass that sick landing Black Panther pulls off. The slow motion shots combined with the camera angles and zoom techniques worked in perfect sync to give us absolute cinema. Man, at that point, I felt like inventing my own Black Panther suit just so I could do landings like those. Of course, we should never try this at home, but we can definitely appreciate such stunts from the comfort of our mobile and laptop screens.
Show off.
Can we really not include such a powerful moment from the big daddy of the MCU? Look, I know there are better landings than this one, especially the one I placed at 35, but I wanted to mix things up so that every scene gets its due. Yes. As I said in the earlier entry, I'm not ranking these from worst to best, but even so, you can't deny that number 6 is a pretty solid spot for the Stark Expo landing. The build-up was decent, Robert Downey Jr. was doing his thing, and the eventual landing served as the perfect entrance to kick the film off. It's exactly the kind of moment where you feel like you're on top of the world. Man, I can understand why actual billionaires and celebrities can be arrogant at times. This kind of reception can really fuel your ego to unbelievable levels. Apart from the suitcase transformation, it's easily my favourite sequence from the entirety of Iron Man 2. This is a moment that will never hit the same again, even if they redid it in Avengers Doomsday or any future MCU flick. The joy of seeing our 3 favourite Spider-Men swinging away and landing in sync for the first time was a priceless experience. We already went crazy when we saw Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back as their respective Peter Parkers.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Peter Parker.
That's not possible.
I am Spider-Man.
Yeah. Peter Parker.
But the MCU still had some of that endgame energy left in it, so we got to witness all 3 generations uniting towards a common enemy. The visual effects, combined with decent choreography, gave us a neat result. The fight that followed was pretty cool as well, with some decent callbacks to previous films, but in my humble opinion, it's this iconic shot of Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield that takes the cake.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm okay. Are you okay?
Everything's gonna be alright now. I got this. You wanted to know who I am? You'll see!
In at number 3 is an odd kind of entry. We're supposed to cover superhero landings, but in this case, the landing is actually a bit of a flop. Bruce Banner is ready to pull off a superheroic move by swooping in at the 11th hour to save the Asgardian folks from a big bad wolf who just won't die. Normally, it's a perfect setup for the Hulk to come out, but here, Bruce makes a fool of himself by crashing into the bridge. That's like a negative 1 million aura moment. The angry green giant awakens and tosses Fenris away like a little puppy. The boy totally recovered his vibe, and he pretty much needed to if he wanted to salvage whatever pride he had left.
But we need to let him finish the job, otherwise... No. Don't stop, you moron!
Just for once in your life, don't smash!
Big monster!
You got nowhere to go!
This one's a bit too crazy because of the fact that it's not one landing but rather 2. Captain America doesn't get the chance to flex as much as other superheroes when it comes to landings. That doesn't mean he can't get it done like a total boss man. Our boy manages to land on top of a jet first. And if that wasn't good enough, he also manages to pull off another landing that's even better. The scene ends on a strong note because of how the camera angle focuses on Steve Rogers' shield as he does the second landing. It's a case of a man doing his job, and Captain America manages to complete the mission successfully while also achieving the side quest of being featured on the TV Regent. I keep telling you that the Winter Soldier movie is the closest we'll get to proper cinema from the MCU, and scenes like this one only further prove my point.
Tell me, brother, what were you the god of again?
There's no hype landing than what Thor achieved in Ragnarok, and nobody can convince me otherwise. The fact that he pulls this off right after blasting Hela with the greatest thunder attack he could muster was even better. It's like one flex after the other, and our man makes sure to farm as much aura as possible while pulling it off. This was a scene that was teased in the trailer as well, and the cinematic output was even better. Those glowing eyes sparkling as Thor looks up at us totally enhanced the sequence, and the fight that followed was even better. The whole movie was all about being funny and all of that jazz, but the Chad moments came when needed, and they were peak. Honestly speaking, this one's on the same level as the Wakanda entry from Infinity War, but the main difference between the two is the hype factor. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy.